I still have a lot of inspiration from my childhood. I have a lot that I feel like my inner child still has to say, both to myself, to my son who's 13, and just to, I think, anybody who, uh, who wants to be able to kind of access that part of their life. And I don't know, I'm having a blast with it, and I keep getting to do more and more projects. It's funny, like I've been doing this for a while. Um, you know, I've been doing this for, 17 or 18 years now, consistently. And, that to me, like I use that every once in a while to tell myself, like, that must mean that I really enjoy doing this, because I'm still doing it and it's not easy. And I've had really, big successes, and I've had a lot of flops too, but it's like I keep going back to it, and I keep still finding a whole lot of really fun things to do with it.
Yeah. And what I love about those paintings that you're doing, there's such a comfort in those moments of childhood. There's such just that remembering back to that time when we were just free to create, and we didn't let so many things, come in and just kind of stop us from doing things. We just went and created. I love when Jill was on the show, she talked about, if you tell a child they can draw a thing, they just go and they draw the thing. But if you tell, an adult, they might say, oh, I can't do that, because we get to that place where we just kind of stop ourselves. And I just love that. Yeah, there's such a comfort and an inspiration and just a happiness in what you paint.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks. I try to, anytime I approach a painting, I do, I feel like part of what people respond to it is I try to be happy, but also honest. People have said, I've probably said too, there is definitely a whimsy in my art, but I feel like it's also not purely like whimsical art, because I feel like a lot of the work has a happiness, but it also has, like, kind of an underlying, almost melancholy under some of it, just because, childhood is complex for a lot of people and a lot of kids. I mean, gosh, several years ago, my wife and I were foster parents, and we fostered some kids, and I don't know, doing that will change your mind about a lot of stuff, in all sorts of ways, just about who people are, and parenthood and motherhood, and just everything, because you see stuff going on in a time of life that it should not be happening for a lot of kids. And so I always try to remind myself, like whenever I put stuff out there, of that, everybody's coming to my art from a different place. And so I try to speak to them where they are. I do draw from my own childhood, because I wouldn't be able to draw from anybody else's. But I for every very happy, uplifting painting that I do, I also try to do. Actually, I guess they're all. I try to make them all uplifting and happy, but I try to also acknowledge that, I know for you, the viewer, everything may not be always happy and go lucky all the time, or possibly ever. And that's why, I try to I try to do positive messaging in a lot of my art. I like writing. I like writing, period. But I also just like the way words look, and I like playing around with words. I like the textures that they create. I like how words can make you feel, both the words themselves and then also how you draw and how you paint the words. So that's something that I try to do a lot. It's funny, through my career, I've had times where I've done a lot more art with words on them, or sometimes I'll do a lot of art without words and kind of go back and forth. But a lot of that probably has to do with just the kind of messaging that I'm wanting to put out at any particular point in time. Right now, a lot of my art has words in them because I feel like it's a really good way to connect to somebody. And just say like, yeah, you matter, you're not alone, or keep going, things like that.
It can be very healing, just
Yeah.
viewing a painting and what you take from that. And, it reaches you on a soul level. And that's what I love about art, because it touches everybody in very different ways.
Right.
And we all take something from that art in that moment. And a lot of times it's something that we needed to see, needed to hear, on the inside.
Yeah. Over the last couple of years, I've done several murals in downtown Nashville, and I believe they all have words on them, because yeah, there's seven in total. The one is a group of six all along the street, and I remember thinking when I did them, I was just picturing, okay, so I can do a fun image, or I can do a cool picture, which is great. But I was also thinking that of the person stopped at the stoplight, next to one of these, and just thinking like, what could they need? In addition to just seeing, um, an interesting piece of art, like what else could I tell them? And so like that's kind of where that always comes from. Like, what could I tell somebody who may have had a really bad day, or maybe just in a very difficult point in their life? Not that a word I could say could heal them, but just like what could just give them 5 seconds of a break from that. And so yeah, I believe every mural that I've done has some sort of messaging like that in them.
That's wonderful. And you can impact someone's life in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
can. And that's, well, that's inspiring. I love that you're doing that. And I wish more people, we need to just continue that on. We need to have more people go out and do things like that. And just continue to pass on these positive messages. There's so much negativity can combat.
Yeah. And gosh, it just, it's not that negativity hasn't always been around, but for me, it just seems like it keeps getting worse. And obviously we've all been through a lot the last couple of years. And yeah, I see it maybe not so much as a mission, but just I see it as like, okay, I can contribute something good out there. Put something good out there, which I don't know. Yeah, I think there are a lot of artists doing that. I think that's you can't have too much of. There's going to be plenty of the bad. There's going to be plenty of moodiness. There's going to be plenty of ugliness and negativity out there, that I think that any chance that we get to possibly put something happy or something positive into the world, I think just a little chalk over on that side.